What's happening, sports fans? Trent the Great back in the building, man. Talking that sport-ish, man. And I want to talk about a hot button topic, man, that's been going on for a little bit. And it goes like this, man. Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback ever. Now, let's get off into that, man. Let's just jump on in that, man. So, first off, Thomas Edward Brady II, that's his name. Uh, he's in a lot of people's eyes, he's the greatest quarterback of all times. And those who are against that argument, man, are slowly disappearing. They dropping out the face of the earth, or they changing their mind. Now, I was one of those who held on to their belief as well, but I wound up coming around to it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go ahead and say it, man. Tom Brady is the GOAT. And for the longest time, cats and myself who grew up in the 80s and 90s, most people would say Joe Montana was the greatest. This was said mostly because Joe Montana won. He went to 4 Super Bowls and he was unbeaten in all of them. And I think he won 3 MVPs in them. So that's top tier, top level performance anyway. Plus, he was a clutch performer who came through when his team needed him the most. Always made the right play, and I always seemed to hit the guy where everything was on the line. It's a story that goes like this with Joe Montana. Say Joe was leading the 49ers on a final drive to win the Super Bowl against the Cincinnati Bengals. I think it was like 88 or 89 or something. And, they was in the huddle, and Joe looked up in the stands, and he said, "Hey, man, there's John Candy." Now maybe it's just me, but I would think that, you would be all focused on getting and winning that chip. You know what I'm saying? Instead of worried about John Candy funny ass. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's Joe Montana. But Joe Cool, he earned his name by being just that. Even when the damn Super Bowl was on the line, So, another story goes like this. I think it's Oliver Stone, the guy who directed Scarface, and I think it was Oliver Stone. I don't want to be sure, but he named Tony Montana's character after Joe Montana because he was such a big fan of his. And you see how iconic Tony Montana, a la Scarface, has been throughout the history. And it's probably one of the only few movies that's never been remade. Even though they're probably going to do it eventually. But that's how iconic it was and how bad and tough of a character, tough a player that Joe Montana was. So, but another thing with Joe, he also had, the best team, considered the best coach at the time. So, that knock could be against him. Anyway, next, some will argue Johnny Unitas, of Indianapolis Colts fame, or Johnny U, would be considered the greatest quarterback, because of all the stats he accrued. And one of those stats being the most consecutive games with a touchdown pass. That's pretty good, pretty top-notch record, because this record was held for 52 years. That's 5 decades and a couple years. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn. So, he was also considered the first prototype quarterback. Size, the arm strength, weight, the look. You know what I'm saying? So he was considered that guy, and he was what everybody else wanted from their quarterbacks in the future. Next up was Dan the Man Marino, who was probably the most gifted out of all of them. And he set all sorts of records. The only thing with Dan the Man is he never won the big one. He went to 1 Super Bowl, I think it was in his 2nd year, and he never got back. But despite all them achievements, all of these achievements, these quarterbacks, they still fall short of Thomas Edward Brady II. And one of those achievements of Brady's is probably his longevity. Now, you could argue that the rules are set up for the quarterback. And the quarterback is he's not hit like they used to hit Montana, Marino, and Johnny U. And them cats used to get blasted, even after they threw the ball. And no flag was thrown or anything like that. It would be if somebody hit a quarterback like they did back in the 80s and 90s, they would probably put him in jail. It was that serious. But Tom Brady, man, like him or not, he's played for 20 years. And outside of missing that 1 year, I think it was 2008, and tearing his knee up, Brady hasn't missed much. He hasn't missed much time. Hell, I can't think of one time he's missed. I can't think of him missing any games since then or before. I really can't. Also, Tom Brady has done it all with little to no help from any big-time wide receivers. But outside of Randy Moss, Brady has never had a top-tier receiver. And that season, Brady and Moss set the single season. Brady set the single season touchdown record with about 50 of them bad boys and only 8 picks. Now Brady, like I said, he had a stellar career. He's had a stellar career, but he's done it with much lesser talent. And some of that talent is the likes of Julian Edelman, Wes Welker, Troy Brown, Deion Branch, Danny Amendola, David Givens, Chris Hogan, no relation to Hulk Hogan, David Patton, and Brandon Cooks. Are these household names? I think not, because most people don't know them outside of playing in New England. Now, the Patriots now have Josh Gordon, and even though Gordon was once on the verge of being a big-time wide receiver, multiple NFL violations have halted all of that. Don't know what this kid, they never really disclosed what's going on, but everybody, at least my sources, tell me that he's an addict of some sort. So, and that's how it looks. But he's not getting caught up in the streets with anything. It's just like something he's got going on, some demons that's really halting and stopping his career. And this cat, from the few games that he played when he got into the league, they were saying this cat was on a Hall of Fame trajectory. And that's saying a lot. And that was like his rookie season. So it's amazing as how good he, possibly could have been. Maybe could be. Being out of the league this long don't really suit you well, because you lose speed, timing, and everything, and those abilities that you have, those gifts, they tend to go away. But they got him back, and we're gonna see how they roll. Now, like I said, Tom Brady didn't have any top tier receivers outside of Randy Moss, but Tom Brady has had pretty good tight ends. He's had Aaron Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski, but they were not, like I said, they were tight ends and not top tier receivers. And Brady has done a lot more with less, probably more so than any other quarterback. His record 9 Super Bowl appearances, they put him in rare air all in itself. And the man holds 54 records in the NFL. 54 records, that is insane. But I guess when you play for one team for nearly 20 years, the records gonna pile up, Some of the records include most career wins by a quarterback, 207. Most division titles by a starting quarterback, 16. Best record in home games, including playoffs, 135, 21, and 0. And one of my favorites is the most wins in December, 60 in 20 years when it's cold. Goddamn. That makes sense though, because Tom Brady has ice in his veins, goddamn it. And Brady also, he's also an incredible leader, because you can't have this much success without the help of others and people willing to go to bat for you and throw their bodies on the line. And I'll say it like this. In 20 years, not one, and I repeat, not one ex or current teammate has spoken out against him in any kind of ill fashion. They always sing his praises. Always sing his praises. Also, you know, off the field, Brady is a picture perfect family man. And he got a smoking hot wife at that. You know what I'm saying? But Brady's career on the field isn't just picture perfect. You know, he was implicated in the whole Deflategate saga. He was accused of instructing ball boys to lower the footballs from regular air pressure to one that he desired. Now, he's come out and denied that, but even still, this is a clear violation of NFL rules in which got him suspended for 4 games. Now, Brady's legacy, his legacy so far has always thought to been conquered time and time again. You know, the latest being last year's AFC game when a young upstart and current league MVP Patrick Mahomes nearly having Brady beaten made Brady, Brady was able to call up on his greatness and win the game and send the Pats to the Super Bowl, which they wind up winning. Now, the NFL is entering its 100th year, and to have his greatest quarterback of all times ever playing in his 100 years remarkable. Now, there are those who argue that Brady is the greatest quarterback of all times, but with all these records, all these accolades, and still playing, and then I mention his smoking hot wife, it's hard to argue that point. It almost becomes mute at a point, because he win another Super Bowl too. There's really nothing else you can say. But first thing people holler about is, oh, well, he got 3 losses. Joe Montana never lost. Well, Joe Montana never went to 9 Super Bowls either. And trust me, I'm a big Joe Montana fan, and I always say Joe Montana was the greatest of all time. You know, I think Dan Marino was more talented, but, you know, what Tom Brady's doing and not getting hurt like that, it's hard to argue, man. He win another Super Bowl. You can't. It's hard to deny it. But anyway, that's my take on that, man. I'm Trent the Great, man. Anybody, you know, want to argue that point? Shoot, hit me up on them comments or whatever. But yeah, check me out, man. Appreciate the support. Everybody showing me. Hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification bell to let you know when I'm putting these hoes up. So, yeah, I'm Trent the Great, man, and I am out. 1.